Test, test. There we go. Joe White. I had the pleasure of knowing Joe White for a little over 5 years. We had a interesting start to our relationship, and it kept getting better and better. He opened his heart to me immediately. And I'll never forget that first sailing trip I took with him. That was a lot of fun. Joe taught me a lot. Spreading joy was one of the biggest takes. I could see it through his music. I could see it through his relationships. How he interacted with everyone that he met, whether he knew him or not. It was all about spreading joy. And that's something I had a great deal of respect for him for. He also showed me music, something that I've been turned off to, and I've since been playing the banjo a little bit. So, very appreciative of his support in that area. And golfing too. He's pretty good at golfing. But that's the biggest thing about Joe, is he would always just want to spread joy. Thank you. We were wondering if anybody else had a story or anything else they wanted to say. I know everybody just loves jumping up in front of a microphone.
I'm wondering where you are. Here you are.
Oh, you guys don't say me? I figured.
I gotta catch my breath, sorry. It's not every day I walk up a hill with a munchkin in my arms. You want to sit on the stool? You want to sit by me? Oh, this is my buddy, Lily. Okay, so I don't know what I'm gonna say because I didn't think about it prior to coming here and didn't even know if I was gonna come up here and talk. Most of you know me, but not all of you do. I'm Amy Jo, Brooke's mom. Lily's grandma. Benjamin, hi! Benjamin's grandma. Mike and I were married. Unfortunately, we did divorce. However, Mike and I were always able to have an amazing relationship with each other, even though we didn't stay together as a married couple. But I'm gonna switch back to Joe for a second. But I just want to introduce who I was. Joe. One of the most kindest men I've ever known. One of the most outgoing, bubbly people I've ever met. He made friends with absolutely everybody he came in contact with. And if you didn't like Joe, there was probably a problem with you, not Joe. Because he was that kind of person that everybody just absolutely loved. And I had the pleasure of growing up with him. I met Joe, I must have been, what, 14-ish when I met you guys? Probably about 14. And Effie and Joe took me into their family with open arms. Mike and I got married very young. And then we did kind of grow apart. Like I said, we stayed friends, very close friends. And I was fortunate to be able to stay part of the family. If you ever saw Joe and I at a party together, we were the two walking around with the cameras around our neck. Joe always had his on, I always had mine on. We always imagined, we'd take a lot of the same pictures, but somehow we'd come up with different photos from the same thing, which was kind of cool. But the one thing that I absolutely loved is, I haven't seen them all because we got to look through Joe's pictures, but he's got a bunch of pictures of me with my camera up to my face, taking a picture of him, and vice versa. He was taking pictures of me, and so all of our photos of each other were us taking photos of each other, if that makes any sense. But I'm extremely grateful to Joe and Abby, because without them, I wouldn't have had Mike. Without Mike, I wouldn't have Brooke. Without Brooke, I wouldn't have Lily and Benjamin. So, I just want to share my gratitude because, you know, they're the reason I have family. Sorry, it's hard to talk and not cry. But if that cycle hadn't happened, I wouldn't be standing here with a family. So they all mean the world to me. Thankfully, Abby and I still have a wonderful relationship with each other. And I'm truly, truly saddened that Joe and Mike are gone. It's way too soon, way too early for either one of them to not be here. And life is very, very different without them. Very sad without them. But we try to, you know, go on every day and just remember the good times, talk and share our memories with each other. And I think that's really what gets us through it. But it's hard. It's very different. So I guess that's it. Just so grateful to Joe and Mike and for the little family that we created, right?
Yeah.
Right, everybody? So hopefully you guys have some great stories to share. Because that is really what helps, you know, sharing those memories and talking about them and, you know, laughing and crying together and just hugging one another is just kind of how we have to get through things. So, love you. All right, whoever else wants to come up here and talk nervously like me and maybe cry. Ready? You want to see this?
Don't do that. Nope, go.
No, you go ahead.
I came to Rochester in '67 to come to school here from New York City. And I've been trying to remember how I met Joe because I really don't remember.
Was it through Access Automotive?
It must have been, okay. Because I drove a Saab, so that was an instant attraction. And I was also a photo major at RIT, so that was an attraction. And Joe disappeared briefly and came back as Joe Turner and had us all scratching our heads. And not long after that, you guys disappeared to Boston for a while. And his friendship and mine are like, you can be away for 13 years and when you see him again, it's like no time passed at all. And that's, I guess that's everybody else's story too. And anytime I came, I would leave with stacks of music that still affect my life. And yeah, it was great. And boy, what horrible news. So sorry to come to New York for this, but I'm glad to see you. And oh boy, love to you and everybody else. What a nice party. All right, that was Joe.
Good thing my mom's here, she can figure out who I am. I was just trying to figure out, I got to introduce myself. Hey everybody, I'm Jim Davis. Thanks for being in my backyard. It's funny, for years I used to have some parties back here, and actually the history of this land, way back in the day, Minnie Pearl, and you know, Grandpa Jones used to play back here, way back in its heyday, and like me used to put a couple small parties together that involve, you know, 26 bands and a couple thousand people. But along with that, you know, Michael was always trying to get me to do another party. Even Joe was always involved in that, to have another good time. And
It's a stick.
yeah, Evelyn asked me to sing a song that kind of radiates both Mike and Joe's kind of philosophy. You know, they both just love to have a good time. I'm on the wrong song. Thank you. See, I'm glad I got somebody here to keep an eye on me. Yes. Okay. It's always good to have somebody keep you in track. So, would my beautiful wife come up here? Because I know she can help me with something. I was on the wrong song. Sorry. That's what you get when you don't write a set list. But anyways, going back to, just knowing the Whites for such a long time and always feeling like they're part of the family, and you kind of hear that same thing, even though you haven't talked to them in a few years, but next time you talk to them, it's not like, where you been? What have you been up to? How come you didn't call me? It's, how's it going?
Yep, same thing.
And going all the way back to probably when I was about 13, 14 years old, and all I wanted to do was play Metallica. I remember sitting around the kitchen table over on Briggs Road, barely knowing how to even just hold a guitar, and Joe sitting there telling me, no, you got to learn some Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
And not knowing that what a great influence that was going to be, and actually, I'd say 70% of the music that I enjoy today has a huge influence from Joe, which trickled down to Mike, which trickled on down to me, and I'm sure many more of you, have left with piles of music and burnt CDs and everything else, and you got to hear this. Well, Joe loved to write songs, and I try to write songs, and we always kind of bounce things back and forth off of each other. And back around December, Evelyn handed me a song that she had found going through Joe's things that seems like he had wrote right around the time of Mike's passing. And he just never finished it, or at least none of us got to hear it. There's no chords to it. It was just pretty much a poem. And she somehow entrusted in me and my beautiful wife to try to finish the song. And we tried to do it justice, but I can say that I may not have Joe's same swagger. We all got our own stylings, but we tried to finish it in a way that he would. So I will say that it is still 85-90% of his words with very little changes, and we had no clue of the rhythm or the chords, so we winged it from there. But we just kind of put it as Joe's song and something he was just writing for Mike. So we haven't done a sound check, so anybody with some decent ears out there, just let us know if mics are on. I apologize for any bugs that we haven't gotten out. Nobody's saying a word, so I think they can hear us.
Turn Lynn up.
Yeah? Turn Lynn up. All right. That's what I
I was hoping to stay low.
Is that better?
Thanks, Brooke.
Okay. I didn't drop that.
And I can't pick it up because I have spinal tap, so I can't bend.
All right. The funny thing is when we started working on a song, through at least 4 or 5 changes, so much to last night at midnight we decided to write one more verse.
We're last minute folks. Procrastinators at its finest.
It's a time of sorrow, it's a time of joy. Oh, I remember the time God gave us a boy. It was all different. Oh man, we're staticking. But it was all the same as we held him in our arms. We gave him his name. But we didn't know what was coming or what to expect. But there is no greater love than the love of a parent. We called him Michael. He grew to be a man. But I'll always remember first time I held his hand. He brought us laughter, and he brought us joy. He gave us a granddaughter, he gave us a girl and boy. We didn't know what was coming or what to expect, but there is no greater love than the love of a parent. I'm gonna miss your smile, I'm gonna miss your laugh, but I'll always be thankful for the time we had. 'Cause we didn't know what's coming or what to expect, but there is no greater love than the love of a parent. 'Cause we didn't know what was coming or what to expect. 'Cause there is no greater love than the love of a parent. Thanks, Joanne.